Last time on Final Fantasy 16, we defeated Ultima for the first time and destroyed the final Mother Crystal, and then made our way back to the hideaway. This time we have a whole bunch of side quests to get. In case you haven't noticed, your poor hound spends all his time of late on the rear deck whimpering like Gavin in his cups. Something ain't right and my gut tells me it's naught to do with his supply of antelope bone. Of course we're gonna help out our good friend Torgal.
What is it this time, Torgal?
Don't sound so upset about this. It's Torgal. In search of a lost home. Reluctant as I am to add to your burdens, I'd ask your aid in a personal matter, albeit one that may be beneficial to your cause. There exists ancient texts deemed so injurious to modern thought that mere possession is deemed a crime, and it was a chance encounter with one such tome, from a distance, that sparked within me the scholastic curiosity which burns to this very day. I wish to enlist your aid in reclaiming that text, should you require further incentive, but that I am willing to offer compensation for services rendered.
Something tells me this is no mere adventure story.
Probably not. I think we'll pick up 2 more quests and then we'll start working on them. And looks like we can pick up no, we'll pick up those 5 and then we'll start working on them. Well, those 3. So 5 quests going. Hey, Uncle. Breeze Company.
Clive, my boy. Rutherford informs me that we owe you our thanks. Hadn't intended for you to get involved, but such are the times we live in, huh?
When we help rescue his confidants and
You're
allies.
far too modest, Clive. You'd make a terrible nobleman. But tell me, is the realm truly in as dire a state as Rutherford suggests?
Pretty much.
From what little I saw, you were right to be worried.
I suppose I should have expected the worst. But I was rather hoping the great and good of the realm might have things a little more under control.
In what world?
Alas, it seems that firm leadership is in short supply these days.
The leaders of this world are
And without
largely
it,
corrupt.
People are bound to lose their way. We must move quickly.
But where do we start?
True, the challenges that face us are many. But in my estimation, there are 2 key areas to be addressed before
You
any
tell
other.
Uncle Byron.
The realm's armies and her larders. As you've seen firsthand, it's every man and woman for themselves out there. Certain cities have banded together to try and maintain some semblance of order, yes, but such cases are few and far between. And yet, the only remedy for the chaos that faces us is unity. A unity that transcends even the borders laid down by our ancestors.
Yes, get to it,
In
Uncle
short,
Byron.
if Storm does not stand together, she will fall apart.
But how would one even begin to unite the realm?
The armies, my boy. As I told you already, we begin by restoring order among the ranks of those sworn to maintain it. Sadly, I doubt I could convince.
I feel
even
like
the
maybe
lowliest
this
gaggle
is
of
gonna be a
privates to
big
dig
one
a
that I
latrine
picked up.
together. But I do know someone the High Commanders have been known to listen to on occasion. Field Marshal Eugen Havel.
I thought he was
Eugen?
retired.
That's pronounced
He was,
Boykin?
until an Akashic army tore through Randalar and killed most of the rank and file. There is no man alive more capable. Literally. And as luck would have it, I've already spoken with him on the matter.
Of course you have.
And he's agreed to help. On one condition. That he first speaks with you personally.
Of course.
Havel has always been a man of frustratingly rigid principle, and he has certain qualms about clasping arms with, well, with an outlaw.
I mean, I
extolled
didn't have
your many
much
virtues as
choice
best I could,
but
of
to
course,
become an outlaw.
But the old goat was adamant that
It
he
was
be allowed to
that or a
appraise you in
slave.
person. You don't mind, do you, my boy?
Of course not. As long as chaos reigns, we will never build a better world. I'll do whatever it takes. And if the Field Marshal wishes to speak with me in person, then so be it.
That's the spirit.
I'll leave for Randalar at once. Would you send a Stolas?
Of course.
Yeah,
Rutherford
come
is
on.
already in the Dalmekian capital. I'll have him tell Havel to expect you forthwith.
Excellent. Thank you, Uncle.
No, thank you, Clive.
Yeah, something tells me with a reward of 50 favor that's going to be a big one. Joshua, what have you got?
Ah, Clive.
Nope, that's going to be
course.
another big one. Let's
Another
not pick
time.
that one up.
Sid, do you have a moment?
By all means.
It's my old master. Seems there's no escaping her. She found some way
Oh,
to
that
send me a
lady
letter.
again.
And
I thought we scared
else.
her off.
Records from a Waluda prison. Seems they were keeping a lot of bearers there.
How did she come by such a thing?
Finding bearers always was her strong point. And it seems the cells of Balmung Dark are full of them. Foreign
Really?
captives, the
Balmung?
masterless. Bearers no one would miss. And even better for her,
The Den of
bearers with
Iniquity
no
from
one to look
14.
after them. When ether started lapping at the walls, the jailers fled.
Leaving the bearers to be liberated by whoever happened to come along next.
Sid, I'd like to believe that I've earned your trust by now. And while I'm well aware that you've forbidden Cursebreakers from traveling to Walud, I can't let those bearers die in their cells. I'd rather risk shipwreck on the Shadow Coast than leave them to starve.
And we go together.
We'll be needing the Enterprise if we're going to navigate the Narrow.
Does that mean...
I'm making an exception, but we travel together. And we stay no longer than we have to. Ash is an inhospitable place at the best of times. We save as many as we can, and we leave.
Thank you, Sid. There was a name in the prison register.
Of
A
course
name
there
from my
was.
past. Chadwick. Another of my former master's protégés. A gifted soldier, and the closest thing I had to family. The thought of him held captive in that place.
He must be very important to you.
He was. Is.
Then we find him.
The entrance to the prison lies in the shadow of Ravenwit Walls, just beyond the portcullis. We should head there as quickly as we can. I only pray there are still bearers alive to save.
As
Yeah,
do I,
we'll do what
Doris.
we can. Yep. That's actually probably going to be a big one too, unfortunately. Oh well. Vivian,
Vivian, I read your note, and I'd be happy to help you find the book you're looking for.
just
Thank you,
give us a
Clive.
clue, please.
But tracking it down will not be easy. Are you sure?
Please. You have always granted me your wisdom and insight whenever I asked. It's only right that I return the favor. Or at least attempt to.
Attempt.
You are too kind. Alas, what I ask of you is rather more trying than delivering the odd lecture. I spoke with Harpocrates to see if he had any inkling as to where another copy might be found, but
No?
perhaps it is best that you hear the details from him.
Really?
If you say so.
Forgive me, Clive, for asking this of
You're gonna make me go over there
this
again?
book.
Damn it.
It set me on the path to becoming who I am today. Its importance cannot be overstated.
Okay. Away we go. Over to Hippocrates now. You wish we could move faster in the hideaway though. It's a little bit too slow for my liking. Hippocrates, tell me where to get this book.
Ah, Clive, my boy. What a pleasure it is to see you.
Harpocrates. There's something I need to ask you. I've been charged with locating a book called From a Distance.
Then you seek a rare gem indeed. One
Yes,
whose
we've
name I
heard.
had not thought to hear from your lips.
Now tell me where it is.
You've been talking to Vivian.
Right as always. But she didn't seem keen to tell me very much. I take it she didn't like what you had to say.
And yet I gather it did naught to dissuade her. Clive, if the young professor has tasked you with obtaining a copy,
Where is
I
it? Just
fear
spit
she
it
asks
out.
the impossible. The executors would not allow it.
The executors.
Coveters of secrets. A clandestine organization committed to the collection and intenebration of forbidden texts and technologies. One such text being the tome Vivian seeks, chronicling as it does the true history of the enslavement of bearers.
Oh,
A tale which could overturn the established order were
that
it
would
ever
be
to become widely
interesting.
known. Or, so rumor has it. I've never actually read the thing, or even set eyes on it for that matter.
How is it that I haven't heard of this organization?
Why, secrecy is the executor's watchword. They lurk in the shadows, emerging only to seize that which must be seized, be it books, inventions, or people, before disappearing again, leaving nary a trace.
And
Which would
yet
explain
somehow
why
you know
Vivian's
how to
copy
get
was snatched
right.
from her grasp not long after she found it.
By the hand of the executors, yes.
But what drives them? Self-interest or ideology?
Fine question. Sadly, all that is known of the executors can be recounted in a single breath. You may just as soon ask me of their origins, numbers,
About
or the
that.
identities of their leaders.
Please tell me where I can find
Any
them.
answer I give would be pure speculation.
Then my hunt was doomed from the first. What was Vivian expecting? That I'd pluck it from thin air?
Not from thin air, no. From ash. Rumors of the executors are rife among the scholars of Storm, but rather less so across the strait. I have a friend. Well, I had a friend in the village of Garnick, a collector of rare tomes, upon which subject we would oft
He's a
correspond.
really slow talker.
Alas.
Come on.
I have heard naught from him since the skies fell dark.
I just
And
want to
no
get
doubt
moving.
He too has turned. But though he did not mention it by name, it is possible that a surviving copy of From a Distance yet rests upon one of his many shelves, quietly awaiting discovery. If you were, by some chance, able to save even a single book from the poor man's library, I know his soul would rest easier.
Very well.
We'll do what we
When I
can.
next find myself in Waloed, I'll be sure to pay Garnick a visit.
Okay, we have our target. Now, for Torgal. What does Torgal need me to do? Yeah, boy.
Say what you will. Karen has seen our shelter.
Yeah, boy. What are you looking at out there?
Pining for something, boy. What is it? What do you see out there? I never did ask where you got that anklet of yours.
From Sid, that's why. On the day he brought him home.
That long ago?
And you're only thinking to ask
How
us now?
did Sid get Torgal?
Sid saw that the pup had a habit of gnawing on his leg, since you ask. Clap that there iron on him to keep him from doing it.
What was wrong, boy?
I'll take like as not. Must have been hard on the poor whelp losing his loving masters at such a young age. Doubly hard in being a frost wolf, torn away from his icons and all. Sid would always tell him, you want my iron gone, you find what it is you're looking for. I reckon what he was looking for was you.
I'm sorry, Torgal. Sorry for making you wait so long. Let's get that thing off you.
No, you're not ready yet?
Doesn't sound like he wants it off.
Indeed. You miss Sid as much as the rest of us, don't you?
So we're taking to visit Sid's grave, then, I'm
You
guessing?
want me to go with you somewhere?
Quick, aren't you? Glad you've been paying attention.
Not nearly as much as you have, Lady Karen.
Aye, good thing and all. It's not like Gav would have kept him in nuts and rubbed his belly these past 10 summers.
Your kindness is appreciated. You've been a good friend to him.
Only because he doesn't talk back like the rest of you.
Eh.
Go on now.
Come on, Karen. You like us. Don't be like that.
Where to then, Torgal?
Where are we following Torgal? All the way back down there. Okay. As we make our slow way through the town. Where to, boy? Lead on.
All right, Torgal. Where are you taking me? I'm going to need a little bit more than that, boy. Do you have a better hint for me? Unless... you've already given me one. Back on the rear deck, you were looking west. Toward Rosaria.
You want to go home? Is that it?
Why don't we try the rookery? I haven't been to the island in almost 20 years. To Port Isolde, then. Fingers
What's on
crossed
the
the old mooring is
rookery, I
still
wonder?
there.
I guess we'll find out. Let's go. What? Right. No, that's fine. I was lost using a Switch controller, so I just hit O instead of X. Okay, just down here. Isn't this where we fought a hunt target? I think it is. Okay, Torgal, let's go over to
Still
this
here.
island.
After all these years. A lot smaller than I remember. And you're a lot bigger. You might have to swim, boy.
He does not like that idea.
I wasn't being serious.
So what is this rookery and why are you so eager to go there, boy?
This place hasn't changed at all. The rookery's right through those trees. Come on.
A
Race
boy
you there.
in his book cup.
I bet I could still beat you.
I'm guessing you probably got carried up there when you were little. Can't do that now. You're a little bit too big for it.
Here we are. This was our hideaway. Wasn't it, Torgal?
How did you get up here? Look at the little papa. Look how adorable he is.
Coming here helped me to forget who I was. Or wasn't. Prince, Shield. Son his mother could love. Had I been any one of those things? Perhaps. What is it, boy?
Someone's armor.
This is all from the castle. In Phoenix Gate. Did you bring these here?
When did he have time?
My sparring sword. Well. You never stopped looking for me, did you, boy?
Torgal's a
Thank
good
you.
friend. And a good doggo.
For never giving up.
As much as you generally shouldn't try taming
For never
wolves,
forgetting.
this wolf is okay. This wolf is okay.
Let's take this with us, shall we? So I don't forget either.
We're going even further in, are we?
That's not the way back to the boat, Torgal. All right. I'm coming.
Okay, where you taking me,
I'm coming.
Torgal? Some sort of lookout, I'm guessing. There's the city over there, where we grew up.
People always talk about the importance of putting the past behind you. But
To
without
an
it,
extent.
we wouldn't be who we are today.
Exactly, you can't
We
forget your
certainly couldn't
past,
steer our
but
way to a better tomorrow.
you can resolve to not let it affect you negatively.
Let's go home.
Quest complete. The charred sparring sword. Very nice. Okay. Next up, I want to take on this one. Grades. Just presumably it isn't too far out there. And we're just retrieving a book and then heading home.
Yeah.
Right? Surely, right? And here we are at
The entire
Garrett.
village looks abandoned. Now, which house would a bookworm live in?
Something tells me it's not completely abandoned and we're going to end up having to fight something, but we'll see. In the wake of a tragic fire at Cair Norvent in 873 V and the subsequent depletion of our most highly practiced intelligences, all mainland strongholds are instructed to redouble training in clandestine maneuvers, improvise weaponry and assassination techniques, and dispatch promising volunteers to Stoneheave for inspection. This report details progress made by the stronghold at Garnick and reinvigorating Waloed's ranks of esteemed intelligences.
This is a Royal Army logbook. Did he take this from the local barracks?
Yeah, I'll take that. A complete botany of Banes by Itha Fatida or Tail of Wyvern. Oh no, that's the flower. White of flower and black of root, the latter of which gives out an inky gall when color crushed. The tribesmen of Northern Storm prick their skin with oaken needles soaked in such, drawing curious patterns about their arms and legs in honor of their heathen gods. The gall is past intoxicate. The single drop taken by mouth may result in cramps most painful for 5 days and 5 nights, or if applied to a wound, certain death. To a slip of the needle and a young warrior's life, it's said that the skin print failed to find favor among the heavens.
His interests were certainly varied.
Hey, there it is. From a distance, Chapter 16, The Fall of the Bearers. The emergence of the first magic adepts were widely heralded as a gift from the gods. Indeed, the title which those with the gift came to be commonly known is most likely a contraction of bearer of the heavenly blessing, the wording used by the tribunes of the time. Those born with the blessing were lauded as living crystals and grant high office and plentiful reward for their status as chosen ones. Over the years, this reverence for their kind would become a full-fledged religion led by the bearers themselves, a development that would prove fateful. The divers nations of the times were unanimous in their disapproval of the founding of the church. While the authorities had for years welcomed bearers in positions of power in their own structures of state, they were mistrusting of an organization led by bearers for bearers. Efforts were immediately made to chasten the church and its followers, banning members from holding office, evicting adherents from their homes, and breaking up meetings by force. The church responded by forming a volunteer army to resist this persecution, and yet it continued, creating a cycle of ever-increasing bloodshed and rancor, and a growing rift between those born with the blessing and those without. What began with beatings and street clashes will eventually spill over into an all-out war that consumed the greater part of the twins for nigh a generation, and decimated the population of men and bearers alike. The deluge of blood that stained the land crimson left an even more lasting mark upon the minds of the same people. After the bearers' last resistance was crushed, the nations of Valisea came together to sign the Continental Accord. They initiated the system of slavery that persists across the realm to this day. Its well-known phrase, "Bearers are other than human," has its roots in the bitter war of the years before, being the unblessed only excuse for their calamitous refusal to allow the blessed to decide their own destinies.
This is it. But if...
The folklore February, the Moogle. No spirit or sprite appears more often in Balasayan folktales than the humble Moogle. Though they are occasionally painted as mischievous souls akin to pixies or imps, most stories depict them as clumsy yet congenial spirits who delight in helping mankind with their daily labours. They are said to have sweet tooths, leading to the common superstition that one must not leave cakes or other sweetmeats uncovered overnight, lest naught remain but crumbs come morning. In appearance, they are described as being covered head to toe in soft white fur, except the small dark wings by which they are somehow able to take flight, and the brightly coloured pom-poms that protrude from the tops of their heads. And yet there is one detail regarding the Moogles that most find more remarkable than even the orb at the top of his brow: the fact that the creatures actually exist. Preposterous, I hear you cry. Everybody knows some Moogles are the stuff of legend. I quite agree, but every legend has basis in truth, and in the case of the Moogle, the fact may not be so dissimilar to the fiction. Ancient bestiaries list a white mole whose feet do not touch the ground among the beasts of the realm, and the illustration of both sides of the name, why it is none other than a Moogle. Of course, it is true that the creatures are not known to still survive in the twins in the modern day. Perhaps their miniature wings carried them to other climes. Perhaps they were hunted to extinction. Or perhaps, just perhaps, they do still live among us, hidden away far from human
What it says
view.
is true. I need to get this back to the hideaway.
Okay. No, we are not going back to the highway, because yes, there is going to be a fight.
Leaving so soon, stranger?
Yep.
We've been watching you. From a distance, so to speak.
Subtle. I know who you are.
Then we need not waste time on introductions. Hand me the book.
Nope.
Leave it in our care and return to your life.
Nope.
Your care? Do you mean to burn it or bury it?
That is not my decision to make. But by one means or another, its contents shall be removed from the common record.
Then I'll have to politely refuse. I won't let you erase our history.
Then we find ourselves at an impasse.
No, we find ourselves at you being dead.
The book can just as easily be pried from your dead hand.
You can try. Where did you come from? Oh well. Let's do
Let's
it.
see, shall we?
There we go. Okay. And big one. Perfect. Oh look, we have what we need. And Zenitsuki. Doesn't get rid of the big one, but gets rid of all the small ones.
Guess we're all ready.
And then we can do that. Hey, that's not very nice. You said you could do that. Punch to the base and broken. Does this 4 times with the break bar too? It does, but it's not going to be enough. Still, it's a decent amount. I'll be able to... Yep, there we go. And Zenitsuki. Still not dead, eh? Let me fix that for you. Dead. That's what happens when you go up against me. Clive, the outlaw. You die.
Impressive. But we have other means. We shall claim the book yet.
No,
Why
you
do you
won't.
want it so badly anyway?
It lays out in no uncertain terms the vanity and avarice of mankind. It tells the shameful history of the persecution and oppression of a gifted few by a giftless many. Would you say that this interpretation was correct?
I don't know.
You don't know. Your sword may be sharp, but your wits are dull.
I mean,
So let
yeah, I'm
me
a
answer
warrior,
for you.
not a
There is
scholar.
no correct interpretation of history. That a series of events took place may be proved beyond a doubt. But there can be no single, immutable explanation as to why they came to pass. It is a question of numbers and of belief. If enough people
History is written by the winners,
that a
that
set
kind
of
of thing.
events occurred for a reason, that belief becomes the truth.
So you're trying to control the truth?
We are trying to protect people from themselves, from knowledge that would bring them naught but pain. That
What
is
about all the bearers that are being inflicted
keep
with
the
pain and
book.
suffering?
For now. The
Like,
world
come
is
on, that's
small.
a horrible argument.
We shall meet again. Until then.
Wait. Damn
How
it.
did he get away from you, Clive? Like, seriously.
Let's get this back to Vivian. Perhaps she can explain what that was all about.
Okay, back to Vivian we go. Oops, nope. There we go. Vivian, I have a present for you.
There's something about it. I feel like it's...
Vivian. I found it. The book you lost.
There you go. Now spread the true history of the world. At least let's talk about this.
You found it. Thank you, Clive. Even though I asked this of you, I was not entirely sure it would be possible. I feared the executors had seized every copy.
I met with one of these executors, and I convinced him to let me keep it. He told me something.
By threatening to
That the
skin him
truth
within
is
an
just
inch
a
of his
matter of
life.
collective belief. And that if enough people believe a lie, that lie becomes the truth.
It does. But it also means that the truth is not immutable, that it can be changed, provided that those who wish to change it can convince enough people that their perspective is the correct one. As the sad history of the Bearers proves.
You said that the book inspired you to become a scholar.
It did. Or its author, rather. She was a heretic, you see. A firebrand and a dissenter. A gallows stood ready for her
A
in every corner
firebrand
of the
bearer
realm.
or just a firebrand in
And
general?
by shunning society, or perhaps being shunned by it, she stumbled upon a truth so potent that an entire realm trembled at the prospect of its utterance. I, too, have always felt somehow set apart from the world of men. A stranger to my own species. She taught me that my solitude was not a curse, but a gift. And that, though my journey to the truth might be a lonely one, what I found at my destination would be more than worth the cost.
Do you still feel that way? That you're not one of us?
Honestly, I'm not entirely sure anymore. Since coming to the hideaway, I find my thinking somewhat clouded. Perhaps the result of studying mankind from a rather closer perspective than I had intended.
Not a bad thing to get closer to us.
But the more I study, the more I find value
Like, if you just
in
don't
this
like
perspective.
people, sure, you can stay
Looking
away,
not
but
from the outside, but
you gotta
from
interact
within.
with others, at least now
So
and
if you'll
again.
permit me, I'd like to continue my work here. Remember, Clive, when enough people believe, belief begets truth. Give the men and women of this benighted world the gift of truth. Make them believe in you, as I do.
I'll try, Vivian. I'll try.
Quest complete. An inconvenient truth. Scholar's bonnet. Well then, that's where we're going to wrap up for now. Next time on Final Fantasy 16, we're going to head into Balmung Dark and Randella. See you then.